All right, welcome to the first impressions review with nighttime driving to actually test out the headlights, which I think we rarely ever get and we need to get more often in car reviews. So let's cover, for this episode, first impressions, a quick little video on the Ford Explorer ST and start to get a good idea of if it's the right Ford Explorer to get. So through a series of videos, we're going to be asking and answering the question of, is this the right Ford Explorer to get, or is there a better one? So this is, in my opinion, the highest trim. It's got an incredible engine, so let's test out these LED lights, jump on the highway, get our first impressions, suspension, bumps, the interior. So just right before we get started, give us a thumbs up. That's the little thumbs up button, the like button, and subscribe with bell notifications on so you don't miss any of the series on the Ford Explorer ST or any of the other vehicles that we do our best to give you an unbiased review of. So stay tuned. All right, so style-wise, the Ford Explorer ST is a complete hit. The lights, LED lights, looking great. The grille, the rear lights, all LED. Explorer written on the back here. We'll see this better in our daytime review. This is the nighttime first impressions review, and for first impressions, we'll always cover really our first impressions and do them at night, so you actually get a good idea of what's going on with the vehicle. We'll be testing out the Ford Explorer, our first impressions, the full review and full test. You'll want to subscribe, turn bell notifications on to not miss that, because we will cover every aspect of the vehicle: pricing, space, comfort, suspension, acceleration, but we obviously can't do that in just one video, otherwise we need like over an hour. So we're going to jump on the highway to actually test how good are these lights. Are they good enough to get the job done? And it's where we can actually test the suspension out. I think going on the highway quickly in a curb, pretty good indicator of the quality of the suspension. Now if you hear weird noises, guess what? That's kind of normal, because this has massaging seats. I'm really liking the massaging seats. Heat level 3 heated steering wheel. So the ST comes extremely equipped. I don't think can't find anything that it's missing. It's got everything you'll want and more. But how are we for the suspension here? Handling, go through this little loop, and it really sticks. I don't want to push it further because, well, the temperature is quite cold. It's kind of cold outside, and we're on the Pirelli tires. So we'll cover tire size in the daytime, the full review. Accelerates extremely well. Thankfully, it's got good brakes, good enough brakes to get this bag back here, moving from the back to the front. Let's give it the beans, pedal to the metal. Sounds incredible, absolutely incredible. So the sound of the Explorer ST is a total win. This is a V6, a 6-cylinder twin turbo engine. I'll give you the exact specs down at the bottom, but it's roughly 400 horsepower and 410 or 400 pound-feet of torque, and it moves. This is a big machine. It's not a light machine by any means. I think it's getting up there close to the weight of an F-150, but wow. And you can move in this. I think people will often mistake you for a police vehicle, especially if you get a lower trim Explorer, or if in the winter you put on those black steelies, the black rims. Some people call them rims, steelies. You're really going to look like a police vehicle. But the black grille in the front, definitely looking like a police vehicle, especially this one because it's white. So I'm worried people are going to be driving slowly, but so far, let's check out the tech. We've got adaptive cruise control. I really like that. So speed adjusts to the speed others are going. And it's got lane centering, so that's fantastic. And wouldn't be surprised if you can set up Blue Cruise on this. I'll get back to you for that on the full review, but I can tell you the sound system, I thought it'd be similar to the Bang & Olufsen in my Ford F-150 Tremor, which is 81,000 Canadian, but I got it when Ford was giving out a $9,000 rebate. Ford pretty much never gives out rebates on the Explorer. If so, it's either a reduced interest rate, somewhat reduced, or a bit of a rebate. So those $9,000 rebates we see on Ford F-150 trucks, I've never seen something like that on the Explorer. I've seen up to, you know, $4,000 if it's been hanging around and it's, you know, last year's stock. But these things actually sell quite well. And for example, right now we haven't had any 2024 Explorers for about a good, I'd say close to, I'd say 4 months, 4 or 5 months. So the 2025s are selling as they come in. Seating, very comfortable. I'm impressed with the suspension, but while we're still on the highway, let's check out the lighting. So it does have automatic lights, and they are working at several hundred feet. So the lighting is really good here. We'll turn on brights, turn off the high beams, but you can, if you play around with the left stick by the steering wheel, the left stick on the steering wheel, you can switch that up and have automatic high beams. So on the highway, it's going to regulate itself. No one's around, it's going to go on the high beams. Traffic's coming by, like on the left side, it's going to turn down your high beams. And it'll even do that when you drive into town. It'll detect the light from the light posts and turn down your lighting, so you're actually legal, because it is illegal to drive through the town with your high beams on. So yeah, you can see highs working all the way to the furthest sign there. Good. I tested it at 300 feet easily. As far as you want to see, you're going to see with these lights. So the LEDs perform really well. They look good. They're not following, it's not the adaptive headlights. They don't follow as you turn the steering wheel, that I can tell. No, well, I guess we're saving that for the Lincoln models. Speaking of Lincoln models, the 3-liter V6 twin turbo that's found in this vehicle can also be found in the Aviator. And the Lincoln Aviator, it's actually a really great buy. If you're looking to lease, you'll be surprised. There's not much of a price difference between leasing a Ford Explorer ST versus the entry-level Lincoln Aviator. So take that into consideration. It's the same motor, it's the same transmission, but of course Lincoln leather, Bridge of Weir leather. You're going to be considering a different style, more comfortable suspension, a little bit better sound deadening material. So I did hear a little bit outside on the highway driving 120 kilometers an hour. The roof, panoramic roof, fantastic. You can see that going all the way back, and there's a ton of space. My first impressions is tons of space as the driver, tons of space as the passenger, and a ton of space in the second row. But if you do leave the third row up, not much space. So turn bell notifications on and subscribe, because we'll do the daytime review. That's going to be the review. This is the first impressions, where we cover really well our first impressions while driving at night, to cover something that really we can't seem to. Okay, so the heat from the fan, you heard that. It is very effective heated steering wheel if you're not wearing gloves. If you're wearing gloves, I don't really feel it that much. Let's see if the heated steering wheel has different levels. It's one level. It also has cooled seats, which is awfully nice. Let's check it out on the speed bumps here. Okay, handles these very aggressive speed bumps extremely well. So let's take them too quickly. Yeah, so taking them at 50 kilometers an hour or 35 miles per hour, I'm going to slow down. Not an issue whatsoever. So these are very aggressive speed bumps. A Mustang will bottom out on them if I drive at that speed. Same thing for the Shelby. And I have bottomed out, but no problem. The suspension is both really good. It's an Explorer ST, so think it's like it replaced the Sport. ST, I like to think Sport trim. It's got a very powerful engine that has a lot of low-end torque, so it really takes off. It handles well in the bendies, and it's also handling these mega speed bumps really well. So really liking it so far. The steering wheel is very luxurious. It's very ergonomic. It feels great in my hands. And it's heated all around, not just on the top. It's nice, heated on the sides, heated on the bottom. It looks great, it feels great. The seats are, well, what looks to be half leather. You got to watch out. A lot of companies nowadays will use, like Ford calls it Activix, recycled plastic. It's very durable. Everyone thinks it's leather, but it's not. So let's get back to, and then the middle of the seats is Alcantara. It's sort of like the other side of leather, the soft side of leather. So really, really nice seats, extremely comfortable. If you have the third row up though, not much seat trunk space. So if you have 5, 6, or 7 kids, good luck. Don't take them to Costco with you. You're gonna have trouble fitting the Costco in the back when that third row is up. Okay, I took that bump hard enough to have my gym bag, which must weigh about, I don't know, maybe 15 pounds, catch air in the back trunk, and still very comfortable as the driver here. Really love the style of the interior. So catch our full review, but my first impressions is that this vehicle is an absolute winner. Let's catch this speed bump here one last time, one last test. Okay, very impressed. The suspension is both very comfortable and performs great in a curb. Handles the bendies like a pro, takes the bumps like a pro. So my first impressions is that this vehicle is stylish. This vehicle, see if these lights do anything. There we go. This vehicle is stylish. This vehicle has great lights performance-wise. Style's great, comfort's great. I love the heated massaging seats. The seat, it could use a little more bolstering. I'd like to have the seats be able to kind of hug me. I had a Nissan 300ZX, a 1990 300ZX, and there was a button so that the sides could go out if you're a bigger gentleman or lass, or in to really hold you in place. I'd like that. The seat bolstering is kind of a great average. So there's just that. But the seat massaging is fantastic. I'm just loving this. You got a cell phone charger right where you can grab it. So just down here. The screen, yes, it sticks up, but it looks really good. So stylish screen. Interior style, 10 out of 10. Suspension, 10 out of 10. Lights, absolute win. The lights are great, but let's say 9 out of 10 because, well, they don't adapt and follow the road. So a little nip on points there. So that could be better. That could be better. The lights don't follow the road, but not a big issue. Not something that I really need. Just a fancy feature and an expensive feature. So I've known people who've had adaptive lights. When you need to change them, you can expect to spend $3,000–$4,000 per light. So for long-term owners, this is a much better setup that the lights don't follow the road when you turn the steering wheel. Now, you do feel the road, but I'm okay with that because of how good this thing accelerates. And 9 out of 10 on sound. The only way that would get a 10 out of 10 is if that was a V8 making V8 sounds, but for a 6-cylinder, 10 out of 10, 6-cylinder sound. For an SUV, sounds really, really nice. Ford did a great job, and I think they must be piping the sound back into the cabin because it sounds excessively good. I wonder if it sounds like that from the back, so we'll have to try it out in the full review. But I really, really like this. Big question for the future videos is if we're better off buying an ST line. So that would be a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine, like what's offered on the Ford Bronco and the Ford Ranger. We'd have very similar styling, but I think we'd come in thousands and thousands of dollars less. So what's the right Explorer to buy? What's the best value? Is the ST worth the money? Well, I can tell you that right now I'm very, very, very impressed. But does it make dollars and cents? So does it make sense to spend the money on an Explorer ST? If money's not an option, this is a definite buy it buy it while they still make vehicles this incredible with this amount of power. 400 horsepower, roughly 415 pound-feet of torque. Feels faster than a V8 because those dual turbos give you so much torque at low end. If you like power and you like accelerating, you're gonna love this vehicle. I even have a friend that had a Durango, and he told me he got beat on the drag by an Explorer ST that just had a tune and an airflow, P-flow, and he was just blown away because he had a pretty top-of-the-line Durango V8. So he was pretty disappointed, but it's good. After that, for his business, he bought like four Ford trucks and a few Ford Transit and Cube vans. So that was interesting. That was interesting. So styling, yeah, it's really nice. I could use, though, on the back of the seats, I'll show you in the daytime review, but you'll see, I'd like to see maybe ST embroidered into the top part of the seat here. I do like that the dash has Explorer written on it on what looks like metal, but is a plastic piece. If that was metal, that would be a little bit, that would be better. But, you know, going with higher upscale materials is what Lincoln is all about. So we're gonna have to review an Aviator in later on in the future. But first, we want to cover the full review of the Explorer, if it's worth the money, which model's the best buy. But if money's not a question, this isn't a must buy. So thank you so much for watching. I wish you all more cars and more power, and would love it if you could hit that like button and do turn the bell notifications on, turn bell notifications on to not miss our proper full review, because we're going to turn this into 3 or 4 videos to really cover all the points from price to exterior styling. When it's not nighttime, we can really check it out. But so far, very impressed. We'll cover all the love and hate of the vehicle, which sometimes we absolutely love a vehicle from beginning to end, but then don't like the price. So stay tuned to find out if that's going to be the case for this Explorer. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate that you watched to the end. If you made it this far, drop a comment, finisher, and if you could also drop a comment of letting us know what you drive, share a little bit of your automobile experience, because it's the community and the community's experience that really gives us that knowledge of wealth. So let's be a great, supportive, caring car community. Let's share that information. Again, thank you so much for watching. Take care, folks. See you in the next video.